Hello students, in our previous revision session, we found or we saw that computer understands binary language and computer is designed to follow our instructions. Computer has a brain known as CPU. It has memory, various types of memories are there in which data and instructions are stored. Instruction goes to CPU and CPU further has several units like control unit, arithmetical and logical unit, different memory units are there. They all work together to execute or to understand the instruction. Where the control unit in the CPU decodes the instructions and commands arithmetical and logical unit to do the, the given task, arithmetic task or logical task. And it does, and it keeps all kind of data and instructions in the register. Register is a memory which is inside the CPU, and main memory is a different memory which is outside the CPU. Means CPU is connected with RAM, the main memory, and further we have secondary memory where all the things are kept. So we'll see these things also in our separate video of class. But now, uh, hoping that you have understood that computer understands binary and we can give instructions to the computer, we may now proceed. So we need to know what are the different generation of languages we have, or what languages we have been using since very beginning. So there are five generation of programming languages. They are the first generation of language. These are low level language like machine language. Earlier days, 1940s, 50s, around this time, there was not developed languages like it is today. So on those days, the programmers or the computer operators were using the binary language, which is also known as machine language, to give instructions to the computer. The code, the switches were there. Through those switches, they used to give instructions to the computer. That was a tough job, actually. So on those days, computers were very big, but their capacity as compared to today's computer was very low. And they the programmer used to give instructions in 0 and 1 using that device available on those days. Then, looking at these problems, a new language was developed, which is also known as second generation language, and this language is assembly language. This assembly language consists of different codes in place of 0 1 or 1010, like binary code. These were replaced by, this is known as mnemonic codes. Codes were there in assembly language, which was better than the binary language. For a human brain, memorizing 0101 sequence is not that easy. So some codes were there. Okay, we'll see this. Some codes were there. So instead of memorizing the sequence of 0 and 1, which was there in the first generation of language, which was a troublesome task for the programmer, for any human actually. So it became little easier for programmer to remember the codes and other things to work with a computer. But yet, the main thing is computer directly understand only binary. It doesn't understand anything other than binary. So we were writing code, like if we have to add, then the code was add, ADD, add. Or if you want to load something in the memory, the code was LOAD, load. So these were the keywords of that programming language. So that was easier to remember. But the matter is, computer does not understand anything other than uh, binary. So, so here came the concept of language translators also, a language translator, which we'll see in detail. So the task of language translator is to convert the language written in any other language other than binary to binary. It converts like to convert the assembly language code to binary code so that now the computer can understand. Computer does not understand assembly code directly. It need to be first converted to the binary. So a software was made which will do the task of converting this assembly language to binary. And the name of this language translator was given assembler. Yes, assembler is one of the language translator whose task is to convert high level language, not high, assembly language code into this machine language or the binary language. Then came third generation language. Assembly language was good, but was also not that good. I mean, it was also not that easy. Further, during the due course of time, computers became better and better and was becoming better and better, was getting developed. So we need a strong and powerful language to instruct the computer. So a new languages actually were introduced, which were much similar to the natural language. Then uh, this third generation languages are made in such a way that are closer to the natural language, means English like language. They're not exactly English, but the words used in English are taken in these languages. So if you'll use any natural language for instructing a computer, then it will become easier for a programmer to instruct a computer. And if you'll compare this with the earlier days, like suppose we have to instruct something to a computer, we have three options. One is binary, means every instruction we have to write in code of 0 and 1. Then assembler, where some codes are there. And the other hand, third generation language as where we can write English like sentences. So if you compare, you'll find that this third generation language is easier for a human being, for us, to instruct a computer. But the matter is, this third generation language is again more abstracted and is little far from the machine, but is easier for us. Now, since the computer was getting better and better, its capacity was developing so much, it was growing. So we need a proper language to utilize that growing machine, that developing machine. For that, we need a proper, strong language so that we could, express our ideas and we could instruct a computer in a proper way. Third generation language evolved this way. So example of these C, C++, Java, Visual Basic, COBOL, Fortran, lot of other languages are there which come in this category. But yet, the thing is, these languages, these programming languages are, uh, I mean, in English like natural language cannot be directly understood by a system, the computer. So it need to be again converted to the or translated to the machine language. So we have two language translators for converting these programs. One is interpreter, another is uh, compiler. Okay, so what is the difference between interpreter and compiler? We will see in our next class. But you need to know that we have these language translators which convert the high level program to the machine code. And how they work, we'll see this later on. Then fourth generation language came, which was more advanced than the third generation. These are the languages that consist of a statement that are similar to a statement in the human language. Yes, this is true. In fourth generation language, the statements or the instructions that we give to the computer is very close to English like sentences that we talk to one person to another person. Are the same way this, uh, you may say SQL is the best example. While learning database, you may encounter this SQL, and in SQL, if you'll start working with SQL, you'll find that the statements are very similar to the English language. So these are used mainly in database programming, as I said, and scripting. Means scripting and database programming, scripting means writing codes, not a big deal. Example of these languages include Perl, Python, Ruby. These are the names of languages which are categorized under this fourth generation language. Okay. And these are the third generation: C, C++, Java, Visual Basic, and JavaScript. JavaScript is also a language of Microsoft. Okay? This is made by Microsoft. So you may see this. This is another programming language. A lot of programming languages are there. No need to worry. So what did I said you about the programming language? That if you learn any one programming language, it will become easy for you to understand any other language. There are programming languages that have fifth generation language. Now we are in fifth generation, still more developed. These are the programming languages that have visual tools to develop a program. Example of fifth generation languages are Mercury, OPS5, Prolog. So these are even more advanced languages. So the first two generation languages are called low level language. Low level language हम लोग पहले दो generation को कहते हैं, machine level language को और assembly level language. These are known as the low level language. और उसके बाद जो है three generations like third, fourth and fifth are known as the high level languages. तो इस तरह से we have learned or we have seen that how many generation of languages are there. So we'll see more about this in our next video. Thank you.